stock analysis, and today we will be looking at Predictive Oncology, or POAI. So this is a company that does artificial intelligence within medicine. I don't know exactly what they focus on, and I'm definitely not going to be reading through the description because it is a lot of words that, frankly, I do not understand because it is medical. But anyway, interesting company, very, very low market cap. However, from what I understand, and based on the 3 seconds that I've looked at it so far, very, very high sales. So we're going to get into it, see what's going on here. Definitely an interesting one. So make sure to subscribe. I make these videos basically every day, so subscribe. Also, if you hear yelling during this video, my roommate is playing video games right now. So just so you're aware. Anyway, let's get into Predictive Oncology. All right, so if you want to read through all of this stuff here that this company does, go ahead. This is a little bit easier. I am not going to be doing that because there is too much here to go through. All I see is artificial intelligence medicine business, and that's all we need to know for right now. So anyway, moving on, 10 million with an M dollar market cap, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. Like, how does that happen? But anyway, target price 0 and long-term growth rate non-existent. So some things to see here. Their their market cap used to be basically 100 times higher than it is now. They had a very long and steady fall off over the past just about 5 or 6 years, and that culminated in them going all the way down to around 60 cents a share. If we want to get into specifics here, we can and look at their chart. So weekly time frame, their fall off was aggressive, and I don't know what triggered it back in, looks like 2016, when they were still much, much higher than they are now. If you just look, this is kind of one of those medical companies where the line just gets flatter and flatter as you go out. So is there still potential here? Possibly, but overall, I would say that this is definitely hardcore penny stock status. The fact that it's still public, I guess, is a little bit of a positive. They have seen a ton of random massive spikes recently. So if you're a swing trader or a day trader, I would say this is definitely something to be interested in. They just blow up every once in a while. But overall, I would say very high risk and interesting, to say the least. And the reason I say it's interesting is because of some things we'll get into in a little bit. So one thing to start with, mostly their growth summary is very positive. EPS long-term is estimated to be negative. However, it's a $10 million company. You really don't know, but sales looks okay. Free cash flow looks okay. That's all you really need to know here. So anyway, moving on to the financials. And this is where I think this will be pretty interesting to get into. So fiscal quarters, we are at 346 and thousand. So they're making about $1 million a year or so. Thousands. So every year they're making a little bit above $1 million, and it's actually been fairly stagnant here since 2018. We really haven't seen any growth. Also, net income is just a black hole with this company. Not great there. There's not much in terms of profitability either, which it isn't great. Total shares don't really show up here, but they are increasing. 1, 3, 4, and now 6 for the estimates for 2024. So not great. Overall, I would say this company is probably not in the greatest position in terms of being investable. They do have a decent amount of cash at the moment. Most of their assets are derived directly from cash. They did have a ton of intangibles a few years ago. And actually, let's go into see the 2024 numbers here. They did have a ton of intangibles a few years ago. Now they do not. Not entirely sure why, but they just completely got rid of them in 2022, and now their assets are much, much lower than they were then. Debt is at about 2.5-ish million. I'm assuming this is still, 2.5 million in debt, 3 million in cash. So there is a decent position there. However, if we go into their cash flows, which we will right now, we will most likely see they are bleeding millions of dollars every year, or this is quarters. Every quarter they're bleeding millions of dollars. So overall, not great. Really, they have been diluting aggressively the past 2 quarters as well, which isn't great on top of that. Free cash flow, very negative, consistently very negative. So overall, this will probably be one of my shorter videos recently just because there's really not much to go off here. Everything looks aggressively negative. In terms of financials, by the way, please do not comment and say, well, what about this going on with the company? This is the worst review I've ever seen. I focus on financials because that is what I'm good at and that is what I do. So if you do know company specific things, please let me know in the comments and don't get mad at me for just looking at financials. Anyway, we are seeing some gross margin improvement. At least in 2023 and 2 quarters ago, we did. The last quarter, not so much, but we are doing better than we did in 2022. So that is something for the company at the very least. Gross margin has been positive recently, which is something. Debt to equity total is above 100% now. So I did say earlier the debt situation was fine, but here it is getting to the point of concern. I would say if it continues to go higher, it's not looking good. This level right now is manageable, but at the end of the day, let's just head back up to the snapshot here for a second. This is a 10 million market cap, $10 million company. So at the end of the day, not great. Yeah, that's all I got for you right now. So going now into the earnings, let's see what we have recently. So the most recent one we have is Q3 2024. So we don't have too much for it, but we do have some updates. So Q3 highlights initiates process to explore broad range of alternatives to maximize shareholder value. I think they abandoned shareholder value about, let me see here, 12 years ago. But anyway, let's see what they have to say here. So loss from operations of $2.3 million and about $300,000 in revenue. So not great. Board of directors is working with an advisor, initiated a process to evaluate alternatives. So, hey, that is something. Possible alternatives include sale of the companies, sale of assets, or a licensing transaction. There's no assurance that a transaction will occur. Management plans to provide additional updates on this process as things progress. So I would say at the very least, wait for a low on this company and then just buy a couple shares and see what happens. Not telling anybody to do that. That's just a thing that I would be interested to see what happens. Either way, Q3 recent highlights. Okay, there's actually just some operational stuff here. 51 billion discovery market following compelling results from ovarian cancer study. Okay, that's something. Raised the funding of 1.3 million, which sounds good, but at the same time, they're losing that much money every single quarter or more. So that's pretty rough. Moving on, financial results. So no guidance whatsoever from what I could see here. There are results. I am not going to read through all of this because it's just too much. I'm going to say that across the board, things are looking bad and worse than they were the year before. So if you do want to read through everything, go ahead. I think I'm going to write off the company at this point and say it is not looking great. If you're interested in a day trading or swing trading stock, I would consider checking it out. But overall, it looks rough. Obviously, I am not a medical expert and I do not follow the intricate news developments of this company. So I don't know exactly if they're close to a breakthrough or have some promising developments happening. But overall, based on financials and the couple things I've read, I would say this is a sinking ship that does not look great. Price target 0. And if they get bought out, that'll be huge because it'll probably be at a massive premium because the company is so small. But other than that, that's all I got. So thanks so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and I will see everybody in the next video.